Give me the argument, the best argument you know, for the power of cinema.
Sup, bro?
What's up, bro?
And welcome everybody to Peliculas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And this is a podcast where me and my brother talk about movies. Every week we talk about a new movie. This week we are talking about...
Last Night in Soho.
That's my co-host, baby. But before we talk about that, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. However you're listening, however you're watching, we're on YouTube. We're on podcast platforms. Wherever you can find podcasts, we're there. Peliculas with the Bros. Wherever you can find... on YouTube, we're there. Peliculas with the Bros as well. If you don't mind, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Tell a friend. If you're interested in Last Night in Soho, or if there's someone out there that you know that wants to watch the movie, share this video. Maybe we'll get some views. Views from the
666.
Views is an underrated album.
Yeah.
Hot take of the day. There you have it. Not only do we talk about movies, we talk about culture, we talk about music. We usually save that till the end of the podcast in a section we like to call
Things and Such.
Ooh, he's quick with it. But is he sick with it?
No.
It's getting really uppy outside.
You're just addicted to that song.
I'm not addicted to the song. I just love that phrase.
I don't.
Well, you don't know where your allegiance lies.
Good music.
You're like Greg. Should I get a lawyer here?
No,
or?
I'm like Kendall.
You ain't no Kendall.
I'm like Kendall. I'm Kendall.
You ain't no Kendall, son.
I'm Kendall.
Shoot. If you're Kendall, I'm Logan. Go fucking beast on him. You like that?
I'm Kendall.
No way. You're like... What's that girl that's like the PR person? Natasha?
She's actually like Twitter famous.
Why?
Like the blonde girl, right? Or the Asian one?
Not Asian. I don't know if she's blonde.
Like dark blonde or something. But she's like white at the end of this episode.
White?
She's a white person.
She's a white person.
She's Twitter famous. She's like super communist.
Oh, no. I said... Okay, you're thinking about Kendall spokesperson. I'm talking about Waystar spokesperson. The one that's
the like lawyer kind of girl.
She's the one that was in the car with Kendall.
Okay, yes.
What's her name? Natasha?
Who cares?
That's you, though. But the other girl, yeah, I just heard today that she's Twitter famous. So she's into the communist agenda.
Yeah.
Good for her. We should all really dig in deep and believe in what we believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get murked, you get murked. But at least you go down believing in what you believe
What
in.
does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. Don't at me.
At.
Can you at on YouTube?
I think, but it's probably not the same. I don't think it pings them or...
Don't ping me, baby. It's really oppy outside. Anyways, Ivan.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho.
Yeah.
Directed by?
Edgar Wright?
That is right. The premise of Last Night in Soho. Shall I? Ellie listens to 60s music, dreams of becoming a fashion designer, and lives in the rural area of England. She makes it to her dream college and moves to London. Once there, she quickly finds out London isn't the utopia she dreamed of. After struggling with living at her school's dorms, she decides to move out to a rented room owned by an old lady. Old ladies are great, aren't they?
Not.
Ivan! There, she begins to have visions of a girl in the 60s who's an aspiring singer/dancer. This seems more like the utopia Ellie had dreamed of. But what hides behind those rose-tinted glasses might be too much for Ellie to handle.
Blink, blink, blink.
with the cast comprising of Thomasin McKenzie as Ellie Turner, Anya Taylor-Joy as Sandy, Diana Rigg, R.I.P. as Alexandra Collins, the old lady that we talked about. R.I.P.
She died recently?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think that's why I said in the beginning of the movie, dedicated to
That's...
Dirty Diana.
Oh.
Dirty. Matt Smith. What a I hate those kind of names. You know what I mean?
Like, name.
Yeah. John
I don't know.
Bond.
He looks unique enough to have a normal name.
He's really good in this movie. Matt Smith as Jack. Terrence Stamp as Lindsay. That's Ellie's grandma, I believe. Newcomer Michael Hajau as John, the boyfriend or love interest of Ellie. And Rita Dushingham as Margaret Peggy Turner. Actually, I think I had one mixed up. Doesn't really matter, does it? Ivan, this movie's directed by Edgar Wright. It's written by Edgar Wright with co-written mention of Christy Wilson Carnes. She is a screenwriter, and he took in her for help writing this movie. That's besides the point. Ivan, let's get into this movie. Or before that.
MC Poway. I mean, Ahoya.
What the hell?
I was preempting your question.
Nope. Too early. Ivan, let's talk about Edgar Wright for a second. Edgar Wright. My boy.
Scott Pilgrim. Baby Driver.
Oh, you're going like that.
Was supposed to direct Ant-Man. Got kicked out. They stole a script. Pretty much an Edgar Wright movie.
Shaun of the Dead.
Trash.
Hot Fuzz.
Trash.
You really think those are trash?
I think they're just too British for me.
Yo, bloke.
Don't be racist.
The World's End.
Never saw.
That's your loss. And recently he released a movie that he directed, documentary, The Sparks Brothers, based off a popular indie group. Ivan, he has quite a filmography. As you mentioned, Scott Pilgrim probably being the most well-known here stateside. Baby Driver being probably a close second now that it's sort of really been popping off on Netflix and all those kind of platforms, right? But yeah, he really came to his stature with British films, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, both movies starring Simon Pegg.
Mm-hmm.
Both humoristic satires. What's his style of movie? What would you describe it as, if you could? There's lots of camera movement, you know?
Yeah, I'd say like fun.
Fun. Pop?
Pop.
You like that? Pop director? Lots of camera movement. You feel like you're on a roller coaster when you're watching his movie. Camera's going side to side. A lot of cuts, a lot of editing. Cool editing. Unique editing that you don't really see in typical movies. I like that style because it really gives a unique energy to the film. Where you can't really find that in other movies. And he has a lot of music in his movies.
Yep.
Music's a big contributor, especially this movie and his last film, Baby Driver.
Yeah. Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim also really influenced by the music scene. And I've heard a podcast with him and Quentin Tarantino, and he's a big, humongous film nerd.
I heard that.
So he knows his shit. He knows a bunch of movies. He's really well versed in films. He's not like a Michael Bay.
All right.
Michael Bay's like, I'm going to eat popcorn today for lunch and watch some baseball. That's completely bad. But what I'm trying to say is this guy probably watches a movie every day.
Yeah.
Which is cool. He knows he's a historian at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that gives him some uniqueness that you would find in other directors who are also historians of the film ilk. What would you say is Mr. Wright's best movie? If we're not counting this one.
Probably Scott.
Scott, you like Scott the most.
Scotty Pilgrim.
Well, you said you haven't watched some of his movies, or
I watched Shaun of the Dead.
Hot Fuzz,
Nah.
and you don't like it because it's the Britishness of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't like it. It's not bad. I just don't like it.
Okay. I think I first watched Shaun of the Dead like a year after it came out on DVD. Watched Hot Fuzz. I watched all his movies. I think one of my favorite movies of his was Scott Pilgrim. I do like The World's End a lot, but I haven't rewatched it. I'm meaning to rewatch that. That movie I saw in theaters, and it was funny and different. And I just love his style of directing. So none of his movies are misses to me. Complete misses.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say, and Scott Pilgrim's really good. I mean, it's such a it's a crazy movie.
Yeah. Unique. It's like a video game movie.
It's a video game, comic book, music, all wrapped into one. It was a dud though. It didn't
Cult classic.
Didn't have box office success. And that's a thing with him. Like a lot of his movies reach stature a couple years after they're released. We'll talk about this movie's success or lack thereof in a bit. And after this break, we're going to talk more about the movie Last Night in Soho. Going into this movie, Ivan, The Last Night in Soho, directed by Edgar Wright, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Jesus. Now, what were you thinking about this movie? Was it going to be good, bad, indifferent? Were you even excited?
I didn't hear too much about it. I heard like he didn't want people to watch the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never cared enough to watch the trailer in the first place. So like,
you're not a trailer boy either, right?
I am.
I mean, you live in a trailer, but you're not a trailer boy.
Don't give away my personal life.
Sorry.
Like that.
I'll edit that out. You're not a trailer boy, right?
I am. It depends on the movie. Like if I see it always in the theaters either way, so it's not like I can get away from it. Exactly.
Yeah. So you didn't see the trailer,
but not like, ooh, I got to be pristine before I watch this. More like
you just didn't care.
Yeah.
And other than not really caring to watch the trailer, were you excited to watch the movie?
A little bit, because I like Edgar Wright. So I was like, should be good.
Yeah. Should be good, right?
Should.
You know what trailer sucks?
Huh.
I shouldn't say it sucks, but I'm tired of it. Eternals trailer.
I've only seen it once.
Jesus. How do you see it once? You go to the movie theaters. Do you go like right when the movie starts?
I leave 5 minutes. I leave my house 5 minutes before the start of the movie. So when I get there, it's like 1 minute. Let's go.
Damn.
That's like perfect each time.
Freaking gangster over here. Yeah. Eternals trailer sucks. I was not too excited about this movie. I didn't like the title off the top. You know? Like the title wasn't attention grabbing to me.
Yeah.
The trailer, I watched the trailer. I sort of didn't want to watch it either because like I can tell it was sort of like a mystery in itself. The movie's subject, so I didn't want to watch it. But I guess the trailer didn't really entice me too much either. But like you said, Edgar Wright, I'm in there. I know it's going to be a good movie overall. Let's do it. It's releasing in theaters. I'm excited. Ivan, the question you love to be asked, where'd you watch it?
AMC La Jolla, ugliest theater of my life.
I like when you say AMC La Jolla because I hear MC La Jolla. Earlier,
MC La Jolla.
Earlier when you said MC La Jolla, I was like, are you calling me like a rapper name or something? MC La Jolla? I watched it at AMC Mission Valley.
We should get sponsored.
I know. Should I just reach out to them?
No.
Let them hear it?
Yeah.
They're like, why are we doing so incredibly well? Why is like every week this one particular movie just busting out the seams with fans coming in and out.
Stop.
We should start giving referral codes.
I think I would use them.
That's right. Anyways, I saw it in the Dolby Theater. So some good pristine audio bumping in our earlobes. I think it's a good that and IMAX are like great ways to watch movies.
Yeah.
Going into it, so you weren't too excited. After watching it, while you're watching it, what were you thinking?
This sucks.
There it is, people. Really?
Not so much, but I don't really care for the movie.
Why?
It's kind of awkward. It's like a teen movie.
It's a teen movie. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's a direct no-go for you because of the subject matter.
I matured past this.
What'd you listen to on the way over here?
Nothing.
That's right. You are mature. I didn't catch you there, but I'll catch you next time.
Okay.
I was expecting you to say like, oh, 21 Savage. Well, how mature are you really? But didn't work out. Interesting. That's a bummer. That's a bummer to hear. So you watched it. You're like, girl doing fashion, not interesting. And girl.
Maybe I was just sexist.
Girl living a singer lifestyle, getting pimped out, not interesting.
I mean, that part was cool, but it was just, I was annoyed by how she played it out. Like,
who played it out? Ellie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The main character?
She's a little dummy at times. I guess she's going crazy. She's emotional. Like, I can't blame her too much. It's a movie too.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it takes me out when they don't act like people exactly.
So are you describing more so the second half of the movie where she sort of wasn't fighting back against these horror?
That too, but like she was like, who lives like that? Like where they're like, I'm going to the big city and gonna make it big.
A lot of people do.
And they're stupid.
Oh, well, that's...
But like, it's such a overplayed trope. Like, how do you... Everyone has to know about that at this point. And if you think that, like, it's like... It doesn't...
But she wasn't really... Okay, so the character you're describing, Ellie, what she is she's a girl that lives sort of like in the rural part of England, right?
She has internet.
She has internet, but she likes old school stuff. She likes the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Her room's all analog.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no... While you're in the room, you think you're in the 60s, which I like about the movie. We'll talk about that in a bit. But she's also very she's like, how do you describe it? Passive?
Okay.
Not is it passive? Like she lets people stomp all over her, especially when she goes to London and she doesn't know what's going on. So she's not used to the city life.
Yeah.
But she does have a dream of going to the city and becoming a fashion designer, right? That's not too different. Like, I didn't hear you complain while you're watching Dune that Paul's like, oh, here we go. Another white male trying to be the hero of this story.
But like the whole trilogy is different if like in a context.
Wait, what?
'Cause it's a spoiler though.
Go ahead.
Because at the end, like he realizes who he became, what actually made things worse off in a way.
You mean at the end of the Dune trilogy?
Yeah.
He realizes he makes things... It's not ultimately him being a savior.
He just made it worse in a different way.
Gotcha. I didn't know that. Thanks for ruining it for me.
You.
It's like you asked for it. Sure, but you're watching Dune Part 1 and you're not saying, here we go, another trope-tastic movie.
True.
So what's the difference? What's the underlying
sexism, perhaps?
What's, as Kendall would say, let's not what is it when he's like he was saying yeah, I hate my dad, I love my dad, I'll give it to my, he didn't say give it to it, I'll give it to my therapist to handle with.
Right. I know what you mean.
Anyways, let's go therapy session here on Peliculas with the Bros.
Uh-huh.
What is it about a female-led movie that really doesn't tickle your pickle?
I think even if it was a dude and he had the same aspirations of, I'm going to go to the city and make it big.
Yeah.
I would still be like, what the heck?
Right.
What are you, 5?
Right.
What are you, 6?
But it is a realistic thing. It's just something that you wouldn't do.
Perhaps.
Because she wasn't complete. She was sort of like the whole, one of the big things about this movie is like nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And also like how you perceive things. Like you perceive something as perfect. And once you get there, once you're in that, it's not perfect.
The only reason it wasn't is because they had these bullies that were like from a 2000s movie that also don't exist.
How do you know? There are people. You got to be kidding me. Okay, so there's a part specifically that I'm thinking about when her classmates were bullying her, right?
And then she's in the bathroom and they walk in.
Yeah.
Come on, that's so
but that does happen.
But it's so like the movie had like a ton of these moments where it's like, all right,
okay,
come on.
Yeah.
She's so perfectly bullied. Like,
yeah,
you see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's comical how like perfectly she's bullied.
Sure, I can see that. I can see that. I guess it wasn't really annoying me as much as it was annoying you.
True.
Which is
I
interesting.
think it's because after like Succession and Mad Men, I just expect like a higher quality of
God.
dialogue.
But you really, I don't think, I guess like to each his own. You're like that with music as well.
High standards.
Yeah, like the higher standards are really just like so snobberific that it's
But it's not like I'm saying it's bad. It's just like I'm saying you could do better.
Sure.
And I'm saying that for everyone.
Yes.
I don't settle.
I mean, you kind of do.
I'm walking out.
Okay. Anyways, for me, while watching the movie, I was having a good time. The music was popping.
Music was good.
60s music. Come on, baby. Let's go. The camera movement, the editing was still in play. Edgar Wright doing his thing. I was having fun, especially the first half. I do feel like the second half starts to get a little bit repetitive as far as like Ellie getting tormented by these ghosts in a way.
Oh, same like dun dun.
Yeah.
Dun.
And the fact that she felt sort of helpless, you know? Like you sort of wanted her to find a way to fight back. And I guess in horror movies, like you don't really fight back, you just like try to find a way out. Mm-hmm. Which she ultimately does. But I do want to see this protagonist specifically not get sort of stuck in this rut of like screaming the whole time. But the first half of the movie was just like, I was like, this is heaven. This is a great movie. Like the music, the way it looked too, like everything looked amazing. I love the sort of 60s style, the flashback. Of course, it gave me Mad Men vibes. 60s, baby. That's where it's at. Yeah. There's like one specific scene and it wasn't even in the 60s, but it just got like ingrained in my brain. And it's when Ellie's at the corner store and she buys a Coke.
Oh yeah.
And they put the Coke right in the front, poof, and it's like just that glistening red Coke bottle.
Advertisement.
And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And I was like, oh, that was an advertisement. But is it? It doesn't matter. Like, I was talking to myself in my head. It doesn't matter. It looks great to me. And the acting, I thought, was pretty good, too. Mm-hmm. Everyone from Thomasin, Anya was really good. And I especially like Matt Smith. His face is so, like...
I just like his accent throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So, like, cheeky, cheeky.
Where you think you're going? His eyes are just all the way in the back of his skull.
Yeah.
He has the biggest forebrow you would ever see.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And the newcomer, I've never heard of him, but Michael Ajo. He is, I guess to your point of being sort of like this movie being trope-tastic, like tropes everywhere. He is that typical guy that's like, I'm here to listen to you. You know? Like,
here, I got you your Coke that I drink.
yeah, like, he's too nice.
Yeah.
Which I guess you could say is sort of like unrealistic.
Yeah, like people are nice, but it's like when you saw him and at the start, you're like, all right, he's going to be like that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like rescuing her.
Yeah.
Not, like rescuing her in different ways.
Uh-huh.
That was just tropes.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you have this thing against tropes. I do have it too. But when I'm having fun and the movie's sort of like how you describe the director, like a pop, you know, like it's like listening to a boy band and getting mad like, oh, this is just so generic. Like I've heard it before. It's like, yeah, this is what you sort of signed up for. It's a pop song. It's a pop movie. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, you are.
You're wrong to have those feelings of like, this is a bad movie because it has tropes. But it is a movie that is made in a formulaic way, just how a pop song is made in a formulaic way.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of the things the movie does, I think, well. Some of them you might not think is too well.
Blink, blink, blink.
Subversion.
Shut up.
This movie did it.
In a way. It's like, it's a trope to be subversive now.
Really?
In a way.
Well, like in this movie's, would you describe it as a mystery thriller? Or like a thriller mystery?
Thriller, horror, mystery.
Okay. In a
slasher.
Isn't any genre movie full of tropes?
I think horror movies, which this takes a lot from, and like
mysteries too,
noirs. They're a little more specific. Like a drama is so wide, so you can really do whatever. And the only tropes is that like they're talking to people. Like that's technically a trope, a conversation.
Yeah,
like because every movie does it, but you don't really consider that a trope.
Yeah,
you consider like, I don't know, what's an obvious trope?
In drama,
in
like
horror.
a coming of age.
In horror, maybe the jump scare, or like a slasher, literally there's like a sort of scene in there.
There is. Yep,
that's like a trope itself. Noir, just like those dark alleyways, dark lighting with neon lights flashing, you know.
And then in mysteries, you have subversion being a trope too.
Yeah,
because in mysteries, there's always like a twist, you know.
Yeah.
I guess I understand when you say like subversion is a trope, but it's always been a trope in a mystery.
Yeah. Maybe I don't like mysteries.
Don't start. Did you like what's the one by the guy who made
Knives Out? I hate it.
You didn't like Knives Out?
No. I had to rewatch it because I remember I had reasons why I disliked it. But I don't like it. It's not because like there was cool shots, like it was I actually did like the plot a bit, but I have to rewatch it because I know I didn't like it.
But you don't know why?
No.
Oh. Yeah. Seems like genre movies aren't really your thing.
I'm genreless.
You're genderless too.
That too.
That makes it easy to be fluid.
Don't cancel us.
Anyways, subversion in this movie, done many times, done pretty well, and it's a reoccurring theme in the movie. One of them is like in Ellie's character herself, like her thinking of how London is gets subverted. It's not actually how she thinks it is. Her thinking of how the 60s are, it gets subverted. It's not as beautiful as it looks like in her eyes, you know? There's also the opening scene, like we were mentioning earlier. I thought this movie was set in the 60s.
Oh.
Because Ellie comes out playing like some 60s music, some 60s pop rock. She's dancing. Her room looks like she's from the 60s, you know, posters everywhere, 60s artists, music artists. It's not until, I think for me, it's not until she goes into the subway with beats on her head when I realize, oh, we're actually in the 90s, or in the 2000s, you know? And that's a subversion. Like, if I thought this movie was set in a certain time and then all of a sudden, we're actually somewhere else. There's also this incredible scene where the movie just flips on its head. Because, like, the first half, everything is, like, beautiful. Especially for Ellie. Like, she's living her life. Of course, there's these bullies at school. But then she gets transported into 60s land. And she finds this girl, Sandy. And she's living her best life. She's becoming a dancer, singer. And then the movie flips on its head when she realizes that Sandy's getting pimped out. Or she's about to get pimped out, you know? And then she goes through this hall where all the dancers are doing, like, atrocities, taking drugs, having sex, crying, dying. And at that moment, it goes from, like, a dream to a nightmare. And that moment, I was like, oh, that was perfection to me, the way he flipped everything. Because, of course, like, we know that this is a mystery or a thriller and something bad's going to happen. But the way it turned on and axes all of it at a sudden, it was amazing. I just love that scene. There's also the part where, like, mystery, like we were saying, we never know who the bad guy really is. Or we think it's a particular person. We're thinking about this old guy that always looks at Ellie a weird way. We think he might be the one, but at the very end, it's subverted and it's actually someone else. Whether they do that well, I don't know. What'd you feel at the very end when the true nature of everything happened? Did you feel like that was executed well? Like, did you see it coming? What were your thoughts?
I didn't see it coming.
I did feel like it was a stretch, though.
What, that she's the killer?
Yeah. Like, this whole time, she was seeing these images of her getting killed. And then, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I'm the one that killed him, actually. Like, why? Then why was she seeing these other images of her stabbing?
I'd have to rewatch, like, the first stabbing scene again. But I think it was intentionally, like, not shown well. Like, it was just, like, the actual stab wound, but not, like, who it was at. And then just, like, blood. I don't know if they ever showed, like, literally her getting stabbed. Or if they did, like, towards the end, she explains, like, yeah, someone died there. Me 100 times. So maybe, like, that's just, like a what's the word? Like, imagery.
Right.
Like, she literally did die, but now she's remembering the real way it happened. But since she was, like, living through her memories, she's going to remember it as, like, her getting killed. Because that's how she
interpreted it.
Yeah, in her head.
Yep.
So, like, it's just, like, what it is.
Yeah. Off of the subversion theme, there's also this motif of repetition that's, like, playing in the movie a couple times. It starts early too. Like, there's things that repeat over and over again in the movie. So one of the first things is Ellie's dancing in her room and she hits the record player and it repeats, like, over on the same part of the song. That's the first hint. But then there's also, like, the scenes where there's, like, repeating things. So the scene I'm thinking about is when Sandy is talking to patrons and they're asking her, like, what's your name? She's like, Sandy. Oh, what a lovely name. And that keeps repeating over and over again. And he's just trying to emphasize, like, how mundane it is or how repetitious it is to live that kind of lifestyle of being a prostitute.
Yeah.
I was about to say hoe. Shout out to that.
Okay.
Prostitute of like having to do things over and over again and like when you don't really want to.
Uh-huh.
I think that was sort of unique in its own way. You don't really see motifs like that played in pop movies like this.
Mm-hmm.
And nostalgia is another sort of motif.
Mm-hmm.
Nostalgia is like a big thing for me. I think for you too. We think about other times and we think, oh, that would be a great time to live in. I know Ivan over here, he's hankering for living in the 60s.
Nah, I want to live in the future.
You want to live in the future?
Yeah.
You want to go to the stars, baby. You want to be Star Trek.
Nah, I want to go to the metaverse. That's my future.
Isn't it crazy, like, tangent, but like, Back to the Future, they thought we were going to be flying cars. Oh, we are, but we're going to be flying cars in our brain.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Nostalgia is used a lot in this movie, and Ellie, the main character, she longs for the 60s. She wants to live in the 60s. She wants to live someone else's life. And I guess one of the things that the director is saying is like, you can do that. You can wish to do that, but just know that it's not as good as it seems. There's always struggles in every life you would want to do.
I mean, look at Mad Men. Showed us exactly what the 60s were.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's onto something and it's something that we see in other movies, but it's better to live in the now than to live in the past and want to live in like a olden time, even if it's like 20 years ago.
Oh, to be a 12th century handmaiden. My dream.
Yeah, you don't want it to turn out like The Last Duel.
Too soon.
This movie's partly set in the 60s. Another movie set in the 60s. We have our boy Quentin Tarantino doing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Are the 60s making a comeback, Ivan?
I hope not. I don't know. I think it's just like a little trend. But then, because we still have to get like when they're, because I'm
Jeez,
thinking
you're
like,
so frustrated.
Because like I'm thinking Mad Men, like that was 60s to 70s, and that was what 10 years ago,
Yeah,
or something. It's kind of a long trend for them to go back to the 60s again, unless like I'm just trying to fathom why they're going back to the 60s, or maybe it's just like a little blip of movies that like the 60s.
Yeah, I think so, because it's not like there's 10 movies in the 60s. Maybe there is, but we're just not talking
But
about
the 80s, that's coming
okay.
back.
I was like, where's that phrase ending?
It's going to be weird when it's like the 2050s and I'm seeing like the 2020s come back.
You're going to be talking about NFTs.
But like, it's going to be like water. That's how NFTs are going to be.
What if they make a Facebook, a social network sequel? Direct David Fincher's last movie.
Davey Finchie.
He's like, time to round it out.
It's like,
and talk about how
it's coming together like a social network too, with how Mark Zuckerberg is ending up. Like it's the makings of a good sequel or a brewing.
well, they've talked about it already before.
Yeah.
So there's definitely enough water in the well.
Sniff that, Mike. Give it a whole little.
Where are you going? Before social network?
60s.
I think
Trend.
a little after that.
The blip.
80s. Oh, Edgar Wright was saying, the director of this movie was saying, I'm not interested in Stranger Things because I lived in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, cool. I'd rather have things that were made before my time. So
who's it for?
What?
No, who the heck is Stranger Things? You like it? You didn't live in the 80s though, huh? Like you're in trouble? Not me. Do you like Stranger Things like that? Like a weirdo? But you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Stranger Things is good. I'm not like all about it though.
Is your demographic about it?
Wait, what?
Your people, like around your age? Are they like Stranger Thingers?
No, my friends are weird.
What about at work? Like, I'm sure they're around your age, right?
They're more of Game of Thronesers.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to show you how Game of Thrones we are creating, or we created an application, and the application is separated into a bunch of different little applications. It's called microservices.
You're gonna say Microsoft.
So they call it Microsoft, microservices, right?
Uh-huh.
And each microservice, which is an application in itself, right? It's a little widget for the big widget.
Okay.
Every microservice is named after something in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So today side tangent. I'll talk about it. Today I added some code to the microservice Hodor. It's funny because every time I think about this, I laugh. So every morning at work, we talk about what we're going to do that day. It's called stand-up. It's like, okay, today I'm going to do this, this, and this. Or yesterday I did this, this, and this. Tomorrow I'm going to do this. Just a little update. And I was working on Hodor, the application. And to me, in my brain, I can't say Hodor without feeling retarded.
It's a dumb name.
And so what I do is I say, today I'm working on Horror. And then, so I was doing that for like a week straight. Just like not.
What's wrong with you?
And not even thinking about it. I was just saying Hodor. And my coworker, he wrote, Adrian, it's Hodor, not Horror.
Jesus Christ.
And I laughed out loud because, like, as I was giving the update, he wrote it, and I was like, "Yeah, sorry, guys."
What the?
But it's not that bad, is it? You're just mispronouncing a name. It just sounds like.
But like, for what reason?
Because in my brain, Hodor is easier to say than Hodor.
Hodor.
I just sound wrong saying Hodor.
I think it's because you're Mexican.
I think it is.
Change it.
All right. Segue. Nostalgia. It's great. We get it.
Yeah.
There is some. It's just like the little footsteps. There is something to be said about, like, get nostalgia out of your head, Like, it is dangerous in a way.
Okay.
Like, don't go watch Space Jam. It's not going to be as good as you think about it.
All right.
Don't go watch Beetleborgs season 1 in its entirety, thinking that it's some Quentin Tarantino level shit. No, it's actually some Channel 5 Saturday morning type of thing. You remember Beetleborgs?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh man, such a good bad show.
You just like bad things.
I do.
Cause like I rewatched old shows. Like, I watched Billy and Mandy. I was like, this is even better than I thought it would be.
Pulitzer Prize, anyone, please.
But I also watched Ed and Eddie, and it was like a little too kiddish.
Yeah.
Like, it was still good, but it's a kid. Where Billy and Mandy, I didn't feel that much.
To be honest, I didn't watch the entire season of Beetleborgs. I watched the first episode.
You call yourself a Beetleborger.
I do like bad things, but I think there's good and bad. There's good in bad.
There's good and bad in good and bad.
Oh.
That was disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know. I do see your takes of like have a filter, dirt. But I don't know.
Nah,
I like what I like.
I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying understand you're watching poopy and treat it like it is.
But in
Poopy.
poop, sometimes you uncover that coffee bean that's worth $1,000 because a monkey pooped it out and now it's worth more. NFTs, baby.
Not everything goes back to NFTs.
Anything expensive is an NFT, right?
You're disgusting me.
Let's take a quick break and we'll finish talking about this movie. Rewatchability. Moving on. I'll rewatch it.
Maybe some scenes, but I don't know. I don't care about the movie.
I'll rewatch it. I'll rewatch it one more time and say, okay, this is definitely a rewatcher.
But if you already rewatched it once, it's already a rewatcher.
How do you say a thrice rewatcher?
Try-watcher?
Try-watcher. Is this a try-watcher? I don't know. We'll see. Favorite scene, Ivan?
I like when they went to the Halloween party and then the Weeknd sample played.
Dude, did you know immediately what it was?
I thought it was I didn't know the song, but I was like, I know this song.
Yeah.
And then it kept going. I was like, what song is this?
Yeah, me too.
And then at the end, I was like, it clicked like what song it was in my head because I was like singing it in my head. And I eventually like, that's the song. And then like I looked it up and then I matched like the sample with all that and I listened to the sample.
My thought process was like, I heard it. I'm like, I know the song. And I was like, give me 1 second and I'll figure it out. 1 second passed. I was like, God damn, this is going to kill my brain.
Yeah.
Is it hip hop? Is it a rock song that I just haven't heard in a long time? It kept going. I didn't know until I heard her. This is a happy house. I was like, oh, Weeknd. Yeah. Can't believe I didn't know that. But I'm like, wow, that was the Weeknd. That's weird. Yeah, that was a good scene. I have that on my list. That music really bumps.
Yeah, I think that was like the most perfect little.
Isn't it crazy too? That's like it goes back. This is off tangent, but when you hear something and you think, "Wow, this is amazing," but then you realize like it's sampled. You're like, should the acknowledgement go to the Weeknd or should it go to the original artist?
I think they're like, it's tough. I think there should be like two different pieces of work because they're both like trying to do different things. Because Kanye had a sample on his last album and it was like, the sample was like super distorted by the time it got to him, but you could clearly hear what the sample was. Like he made it sound really dark and like devilish or like deep, but the sample was like lighthearted and stuff.
But you can hear it.
Yeah, like it's clear like he literally just got the sample, put it there, and then like stretched it, made it like deeper or whatever. But at the time I didn't know, but it's just tough to say like who did the real magic. But I think it's like they both equally did their magic, and it just like you gotta be inspired and stuff.
I know I've been joking about NFTs for too long,
but this is serious now.
It's like the boy that cried wolf now. But like, if a song is an NFT, right? And you can, and right now you can actually do this. Like when you look at an NFT, it says like 80. There's like attributes you can add to it, right? Like, for example, if you have like a red and blue painting and 50% is blue, 50% is red, the attributes would be 50-50, red and blue, right?
Yeah.
You could do that with music too, essentially, and say like, this is a Kanye West song. It's made of all these attributes, and you can now see it like data format because it's an NFT and it's all digital or whatever.
Yeah.
50% is the sample. 50% is, or 25% is Kanye because he modified it. 25% is, I don't know, whatever, Metro Boomin. I think that's pretty interesting just to think of it that way, as like NFT being able to just capture data, and also like the idea of giving credit to original artists. If songs are NFTs and like you could get 10% off of whatever, like 10% of 10%.
Mhm.
Kanye plays a song. He has to give music to the Banshees, whatever.
Yeah,
That'd be cool. NFTs, baby.
I hate them.
Great scene, Ivan. Good pick. I like the opening scene just because of when I was younger and I saw someone singing, I'm like, what is this shit?
Jeez.
But now I'm like, okay, it's art. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, and that scene where she's like being a girl and like dancing in a room, like when I was a kid, I would be like, please, I'm not a girl. Change this. But now I'm like, okay, I get it. This is art. And the way it subverts us in the beginning, making you feel like you're in an older time when you're actually in a modern time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like that too. The first time she gets transported to the 60s and she meets Sandy and that whole like mirror, that was incredible.
Yeah.
The editing, the time it took to make that, I have no idea, but it seems like so much freaking work.
I got a channel that you showed, a YouTube channel. I don't know if you watch it.
I probably do. Go ahead, give it to me.
It's these CGI guys who dissect.
Oh, I don't. But yeah. Uh-huh.
You should watch it.
Okay, I will.
It's like, it's changed my life. Like during that scene, I was like thinking like, because they really go into detail how all CGI is made.
Uh-huh.
So like during that scene, I was like thinking like, how did they make that? And I didn't have an answer, but it just makes you think more critically how scenes like that are made, because you take it for granted when it's so simply put like that.
Yep.
But someone has to figure that out.
Yep.
And it's
Dude,
just,
I've dealt with that myself. Like, I've made like a stop motion animation thing. And that was like a beast and a half. Like any little mistake and it's evident like that on the screen. And then I did another like little mini video of like showing objects. And that even is extremely difficult. And I tried to make it as basic as possible. And it's like, God, imagine when you have to deal with like 100 people, like a cast, lighting. Hell no, dude. It's hard. That's why you need like a DP, a director of photography, and all these different like titles, because coordination's, I mean, it's hard.
Yep.
Yeah, that scene was amazing. The mirror scene, and then leading to the dance, Sandy and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
That dance scene was amazing. I love how like Jack is like,
that's how she dances.
oh yeah, no.
Oh, that's one of them too.
I love how like Jack is like the center focus of the camera, and Ellie and Sandy are just like coming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, how the hell do you do that? Like, you need to be so quick with it to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Your scene, I put that to the dancing party scene. The realization of Susie starting to get pimped out.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. I love that scene. Did you get the fact that that old guy was the cop?
No, I think that part was kind of handled dumb. Like when she confronted him, I feel like it would have been a little simple. Like, hey, what's your name? This. Like, okay, your name's not this dude who was pimping her out.
But was the police guy a customer as well?
I don't think he was a customer. He was just like,
Was he helping her?
trying to.
So why does he, at the end when he says like, if you see her, let her know she's going to hell, right?
Maybe he was like frustrated that she didn't try to help, or maybe he knew she was a killer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe he knew, but he couldn't prove it,
Yeah.
which seems crazy. All you need to search for it and look in the walls. I would also assume the walls stink with the...
Yeah, that was a little weird. Like, shouldn't... Maybe they're not literally there, because it would stink. It would be a little...
Have a little odor, you know?
little
And then I do like when Mrs. Collins, the old lady, reveals herself to be Sandy. I like the revealing process. I don't like her like, get over here. But I do like when she's like...
I would have beat her booty.
Yeah. I was waiting for her to just like Sparta kick her.
Yeah.
And just go see her flying.
I know, like, there's a knife in the way, but, like, you got the high ground. You just... She's like, falls.
Who
She's
are you,
old.
Obi-Wan?
Maybe.
Never. What is it?
I have the higher ground.
Never give. Never give the higher ground.
Yeah.
You were supposed to be the one. I'm a bad actor, guys. Maybe I'm not. Edgar Wright, holla at your boy.
Jeez.
Possible?
Sure.
Oh, you're feeding me, boy. Ivan.
Eh.
Time to use our infamous ticket scaling system. Because you don't have anything better, and I think it goes perfectly.
Out of
with
5
this.
records.
God damn it, he got it. Ivan, out of 5 records, how many records does this movie get?
2.75.
Okay.
It's a pretty good score.
You're going to give it like a 1 one day? Like, yeah, not bad.
I think 2 is when it's like, all right, not good. 2.7, 2.5 is like, that's like average in my head.
This is a 4 out of 5 tickets for me, baby.
Gee. Like every movie you watch is like so high up there. I want to like.
I want to see Eternals and say this movie was a 1.5 out of 5. Like I'm waiting to watch another Marvel movie just so I can finally give a bad grade, because that's what all Marvel movies are. Bad grades.
I think they're all like 2.5s at worst.
No way. So what's Shang-Chi again? In this scale? What'd you give this movie, a 2?
2.75.
So what's Shang-Chi?
3.25.
You heard it here. You know who you're dealing with, all right? That's not me. That's your boy. I give it a 4 out of 5 because I think his directing style is just my bag. I think the music...
But like every... like the past 5 movies have been 4 and ups. What the heck?
No, at me.
Okay,
look.
Look.
If I can regrade movies,
I
would.
You can?
Look over there while I talk. James Bond, I definitely should have gave that a 4.5, okay? It's a 3.75. Dune, I stick with it. It's a 4.5. This movie, it's a 4.
I just think your scale is going to break when you find like a movie that like you're really into.
The Last Duel, great movie, 4.5.
But they're not like, I don't see that as like your exact type of movie.
This is actually more of my exact type.
This was closer, yes.
But this has bad parts. This isn't as consistent as The Last Duel. I guess I'm not a grader. I don't grade on like my type of thing.
Shut your mouth.
I actually graded the right way. Where are you looking? My eyes are over here. I don't know. I know what you mean. Because I thought the same thing, and I was like, wait, if Dude was a 4.5, this is like a 9 point. Just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
I know what you mean.
Then change.
I'm getting better at grading, though. Ivan, that's it about this impeccable movie.
In Soho.
Last Night in Soho. I do, like, literally, I think if they changed this movie's name to, like...
First Night in London.
It is, like, something like that, like...
A London murder.
Like Dirty London.
Yeah, I don't know what Soho is. Like, I know it, but I don't.
Right.
Like, isn't it like a house with, like, stores on top or something?
I think it's a neighborhood in London.
I think a Soho is like a cul-de-sac sort of thing. Like it could be anywhere.
So see, we don't even know, right?
Yeah.
I think that is a direct reason why this movie didn't do well in the theaters.
And Last Night in Soho sounds more like a party. Like Last Night in Soho.
Yeah. And to me, Soho sounds girly.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, I think of like fashion or like girly fashion.
Yeah. I mean, this was a pretty girly movie.
It was. But I think it can appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah. But it's like a teen girl horror movie, like at its core.
Tell the people, should they go watch it? Yes or no?
Nah.
Our viewers, I think we got like 2 viewers. And knowing them, don't watch it. Leave it to me. I'll rewatch it. Ivan Frosio.
Yeah.
I used your last name.
Yeah.
It's time for a section we like to call
Things and such.
Demon High.
Oh, I didn't listen to it.
I realized something. Can you roll your eyes?
It's gonna be like on a shirt. I realized something, and then your name with a little quote on it.
It's just like insert. It's like I realized something. Insert artist is the greatest artist of all time.
Yep.
Insert director is the greatest director of all time. Insert movie is the greatest movie of all time. I realized something, Ivan, and it's not like that. It's something else.
You say that.
You
too.
asked. You always ask, what's the next step for music or hip hop in general?
Rap's dead.
And I think what?
Nothing.
And I think the direction is pop.
It's been
Yes, I know, but it's like literally, it's pop.
like Lil Nas X pop rap.
Yeah. So like, if we look at hip hop, we think of rhymes behind a beat, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's grown to be different styles of rhyming behind different types of beats. As it grows and grows, becoming the number one type of music genre, it's gone to singing, rapping, rhyming, singing and rhyming over beats, over different styles. Now that it's number one, I think it's like converging with other genres.
Uh-huh.
The direction I feel like is converging with other genres and just doing that, just like molding into other genres, right?
Okay.
I think that's already happening with like reggaeton, and whenever an artist like Kendrick features on like a Taylor Swift song or whatever. He did that once, right?
Yeah.
And then when I hear Demon High, I'm like, well, this is what rap is going to, because it's just going back to like what all music is. Pop, you know? Or what most music is trying to be, pop.
Uh-huh.
And it makes me think of like when rock was just converging back into like where it was going, because it went from like rock to classic rock to like all the different variations in the 80s. It's like punk, alternative, post-punk,
What happened after that?
noise rock, and then it went like heavy metal, hair bands, and that's
Cardi.
when it was like extremely like over the top.
Cardi. 6ix9ine.
Exactly.
So what happened after metal?
Grunge,
Jesus Christ.
and it got dark again.
I'm trying to find the end to this.
Like it went complete opposite, right? Like it went hair metal, grunge. It's like saying like, okay,
So we're going back to like XXX Tentacion sort of thing.
kinda,
If it's following this pattern.
yeah. And then it went after grunge. It went alternative, and alternative now it's like where we're at now. Alternative, I guess you can describe it as like almost like a blend of genres, you know?
So that's like now with rap.
I feel like, yeah, it's sort of.
So after alternative, that's when rap got started. Is that correct?
No. I think it got started like when all the subgenres of rock were emerging post classic rock.
Okay.
Because classic rock, you can think of it as like boom bap,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
That's like where the core, the foundational classic albums were made for
So
classic
what's
rock.
that for rap?
That's the 90s where you have Dr. Dre,
And what was
Tupac,
after classic
Jay-Z.
rock?
After classic rock was like the multitude of genres, like
Just what we have now, like trap, and then
yeah,
whatever else we have. But we have
what is it? The New York stuff.
Drill. Okay.
And you have like the SoundCloud, and you have emo, and you have all these little subgenres. Then you have heavy metal, which is ultimate pure
energy.
Yeah, and
Cardi.
like ballads.
Cardi doesn't sing.
But the point is like it's going more mainstream. That's like the epitome of mainstream rock is hair metal rock. And I think that's where artists like Cardi, Uzi Vert are trying to go into this they're trying to go into the mainstream of whatever hip hop version that is, and that's the sort of thing that I heard when Demon High. Just like, I'm not saying it's a hit or anything. I don't think it is going to be, but I think he's trying to go that way, trying to like meld into pop as much as hip hop can, because he's singing in the song, and it sounds like a boy band, like a pop song.
So what's next? That?
I think it's going to be.
But I'm asking what's next is like, if heavy metal is next, what's the next heavy metal in this like succession?
No, if I think we're going into the heavy metal area, not heavy metal. We're going to the hair metal
of rap
right now. And what's after that? Grunge. So like really
what's hair metal? Like Kiss?
It's more like Guns N' Roses. It's Guns N' Roses.
Is grunge like Kurt Cobain?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of math in my head.
So who's the next Kurt Cobain?
Not born yet. He's like 10.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be like who's the most genuine. Like the next thing is gonna be a genuine art style, which could be something more instrumental or something more like. I mean, you can argue that Kendrick and Drake are sort of genuine, but
shut up.
Yeah,
I think Drake's genuine, but his genuine self is like a piece of poop bag. Like, I think Views was like his most genuine album, but what we saw was like this dude who kind of sucks.
So genuine, but that's what grunge is too. Like Kurt Cobain, he's kind of sucks too. He wasn't like a guy to admire.
But I don't think
Drake is.
Don't say
Drake
that. Don't
Kurt
finish that
Cobain.
sentence.
You just gave me a realization. No, I don't know. I think this is all hypothetical. I have no idea. I just feel like
I think you're onto something.
I think there's also.
I think you're onto something.
Oh my god, really? I think there's gonna be artists that just go into different genres now. And I think that's a style too. Like,
I think there's gonna be a next thing. I don't know if it's rap. I mean, it has to be some rap thing, but something just pure genuineness.
I think it's like Lil Nas X, where he does his entire album is like a genre-less album, like doing a little reggaeton here, a little rap here, a little country here, a little pop here, but like able to meld it into an authentic piece of work, and that's gonna be hard.
That's because like the internet too, just because everyone's like connected, like everything's getting singular.
Yeah,
like we're all going to like this.
That's
singularity.
Guys, I need to go. That's why A$AP Rocky is so foundational. Because he took Bone Thugs and Harmony, Houston, Chopped and Screwed, New York swag, a little bit of 3 6 Mafia, and melded it into this guy. And they're like, well, that's the beginning of internet rap.
Mm-hmm.
Like melding everything because you have access to everything.
There's something coming. For like in every direction. I feel it.
I feel like there's going to be a Travis Scott guy, like a Travis Scott person.
I think Kanye West person.
No, Travis Scott person who's like, I like Travis Scott, but he's dumb. Like, I can do what Travis Scott does, but better and in all these genres.
Well, like, I'm not saying he's going to do it, but Jack Harlow said in interviews he's going to be bigger than. Whoa, where did Adrian go?
I refuse to look at you in the eyes.
No, but like he's whether you like his music or not, he's a person who is genuine. He's like self-aware and he knows like what he's doing. He's not like a.
He's created off Drake though, right? He's like
Excuse
took
me?
his mold from Drake, right?
I mean,
He's like an idiot, right? Just kidding. No, I'm kidding. That's a lie.
yeah, like it's the same thing he took from Drake. Like ASAP took from all these people. He's taken from all these past people.
Mm-hmm.
He's just another generation. He's like, I see him with Lil Nas X. I just said Jack Harlow, kind of the baby, because he's kind of in this weird little realm of being canceled and not, but he's kind of being a rock star about it in a way. Because I think it's kind of like cool to be like, I was raised like this. Like I'm a product of my environment sort of thing.
He's Trump. But he sort of messed up too. Because
Yeah.
recently, you know what he did?
I know he's not good. I'm not like,
No, not that.
okay, what?
Not in that. Like on the other side, where he donated to foundations and he had to get an okay from like the LGBTQ blah 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 to start performing again.
Oh, I mean,
But that's just like I was listening to the podcast the Joe Budden podcast where he's like, that's extortion basically. Like they'll cancel you until you pay money to their donation.
yeah, like
not even the baby is safe.
yeah.
The
But,
baby.
Like, what else can he have done? Could he have done to make it right? You know?
He did what he did. He did what he could. He said, "This is how I raised. I'm trying to learn." The end.
But that's not ever. I'm asking, like, there should be some sort of way to figure out when you have righted your wrongs without paying money.
Yeah, there should be. But
And I
we
think
don't
we're
have
like getting to that point.
maybe
where
NFTs can solve that. Uh-huh.
you just like made me racist. I don't know how. Just when you said that.
Is it possible to be racist against NFTs? I wish I could.
NFTist. But I think we're reaching that point. Like it's part of like the singularity, not like AI, but of everything becoming closer to one.
Yeah.
A formless being sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think like that's going to be part of it, like figuring out like what's actually right, and obviously making him pay, like literally just paying money until it's all okay. That's not right.
That's messed up.
Yeah, but it's also good that he donated money to like this.
To this foundation who needs to pay their salaries.
Yeah. Like, it's just people need to figure out, like, people make mistakes, have them genuinely apologize and figure out if it was actually genuine, and then be like, okay, you're good. Like, that's how it has to be. Like, anything else is like...
But that requires, like, mind reading.
I don't, like, I think...
How do you figure out if someone's, like, genuine? Like, I'm really sorry, guys. Like,
make an essay. I don't know if...
No one has time to read that.
Then it doesn't matter. Like, I'll use the baby as an example, but if he just penned an essay or a song, like
Didn't he do that?
An apology song?
Yeah.
Well, listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, make an essay explaining... He did do that, but explaining everything he thought, why his reasons, how he got to there, he was raised this way, et cetera, and have that exist and say, like, look, I wrote this. No, nobody helped me with this. I had people teach me the right way. Here's my essay.
Uh-huh.
And then a smart person, an educated person would read that and say, like, this person understands what he did was wrong and he's changing for the better.
But no one does that.
I know, but that's what should be done.
But you're living in a fairy tale land.
I'm living in the future.
NFTs, baby.
An NFT of the baby's apology essay.
Well, the reason I say NFT is because like it's a way to certify if something's real.
Stop.
I guess what I'm saying is like we will always be this way unless we have some type of technology that tells us, okay, what you're saying is true or you're saying is
I don't think so. But I think
we can't all grow as human beings. Like, yeah, you can, but it takes for a teenager to realize like how dumb they are.
Education.
They need to be 30 years old.
Nah. I think it's just better education from the get-go. Because, like, you're not taught to critically analyze any of this. Like,
but you will never be taught that.
Why not?
Our systems failed.
Well, let's fix it. People like you who give up.
I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to help.
You sound like a quitter.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to help those around me. But as far as like Pancho living in Guadalajara, Mexico,
well, if
I can't help him.
Well, yeah, I'm saying.
And he's mad about the baby. And I can't change.
I don't care about Mexico.
I can't change Pancho. Pancho gets mad and I
Villa?
can't change his mind, man. He's a crazy MFer.
I'm saying we should focus on America because everyone else copies us.
So you're a nationalist.
A bit.
You're right here.
It's not crazy to think that everyone absorbs our entertainment like it's crack.
I just like what you said. Crack.
With a little in it.
I need to snort that.
But if we like fix America, make it great again.
Oh no! Yeah, I know what you're doing here.
You know what I mean? Like people are gonna copy
I know
us.
what you mean.
We fix our people here, and then it's gonna
distribute the message worldwide.
Reverberate. It's gonna take like 100 years. I'm gonna be dead before it's fixed. But you plant the tree now to see the fruit for your
But the
kiddies.
technology is easier.
What do you mean technology?
To create the chip that goes in you that gives you the ability
1984. Ever read that book?
Hell no, I burned it.
Huh?
The chip that goes in your brain that your brain obviously, right? Goes in your brain, then you can read other people's brains and you're like, okay, he's being honest. He's lying. That way we don't have to
That
deal
takes out the humanity. I wanna solve humans with humanity, not with an electrical chip.
That's why I think like we should just let people be crazy and then kill them.
Now you're just talking poopy.
Okay, yeah, I don't really know what I'm talking about, honestly. I don't know how to solve this. I wasn't paid for this.
I was.
Let's switch subjects. Succession, another great episode.
Chef's kiss.
There is one thing that I do want more, and it's like the interaction between the siblings. And we're not going to get that because they're separated.
Maybe later. Like, there has to be more.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the end. Like, they fought. They always fight.
Yeah.
And they always just come back together.
Yeah.
I think this episode just made it so, like, another, like a big diverging path. And probably they're going to come back at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have some team swaps because, what's her face? The red-haired.
Shiv.
She's like, whatever team wins, she does not have loyalty like that. Well, they're all like that.
There's going to be swaps.
Yeah.
I like, I think Greg's going to swap for sure.
I'm a little annoyed with Greg.
No, not Greg. Sorry. Tom. Tom's going to swap.
Yeah, I think Tom is.
And I think Greg is going to be like a complete fish. You'll never be able to grab him.
Well, like, Greg always comes with Tom. So, like, you get Tom, you get Greg.
Yeah. It's a twofer.
So sad.
I like when Kendall was like talking to Greg. He's talking to Tom. He's like, I know you feel like the last eunuch in the Forbidden City.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And I love how Kendall uses all these weird verbiages that have like so many hidden layers.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just tell me what you mean, bro?
It's funny.
Why you have to be so weird and smart, but you're dumb at the same time.
I love it.
Yeah, that's what makes him great. And then I love the scene where Kendall told Shiv, he's like, "It's you."
Yeah, like he saw how like
There's so many meanings. In
yeah,
that, but yes.
but that one's like, whoa, this is getting like real.
And he's like, and I feel sorry for you.
And he just walks away. That was cool. I was like, this guy, he has a shot.
Yeah.
And then
It's that's another great thing that it does. It's like, so Kendall, is he on drugs?
I think he's just hopped up on like the high of killing his dad.
Yeah.
Killing his dad.
Yeah.
And it's just giving him another energy. But he also has like this ego he needs to break. It probably broke with the end of this episode. But he was like too in his own head thinking none of this affects him. But if he acts like it affects him.
It affects him.
Yeah, it would benefit him to
be empathetic to himself.
Yeah. To like be sad. And he finally showed it at the end with Shiv's letter. Yeah. That was a good scene when he was just walking, the music plays. It's like you felt like his numbness there.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So many things.
I don't know who's gonna. I feel like Greg has the highest chance now.
I think they'll all fail ultimately. Like either way, it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
But that's what makes our viewing pleasure. That everyone's gonna sort of bite it.
Like I wonder. Like I feel like they have to kill somebody eventually.
Like literally.
I don't know, but like somebody. I think somebody has to die. Because it feels.
I don't want that.
I know, but like, where can they go? Like, this is getting so violent, you know?
But it's all words.
But that's the crazy part. Like, it's all words, but it feels like.
But that's what I want.
They're like at the throats, literally.
I want to keep it there because that's what I like. That the show doesn't mean anything.
But it means everything.
No, it means nothing.
It means everything.
And I also like how. Like you were saying, Kendall, he needs to feel bad for the things he's done.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to like actually talk to human beings.
Yeah.
And they all need to talk to like human beings because they're all dead inside. And they all think that everything's...
Yep. But there's so many things at play. Like Sandy and his company. Like that's another thing they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Roman and his... wife mother thing that's going on, that's another thing. Whatever Tom and Greg does, whatever Greg does, that
whatever
could be
Tom
like
does with Shiv.
Like if they could get divorced and that would be like a whole season on its own.
Yeah. Great times. I love it. Yeah.
Could go anywhere.
Anything else you're watching, listening to? You heard the Big Sean Hit Boy album?
Heck no. I hate Big Sean. I hate his voice. I hate his face.
I forgot you hate his voice. He has good flows when he tries.
I think I'm over rap.
I think so too.
I retired. I'm an old soul.
It was just Big Sean, right? Yeah, I think that was it.
Today, Travis Scott. I say I'm over hip hop, but
I'm here. New song, right?
Huh?
New song?
Yeah, I think it's a single, maybe two. But I'll listen to the big ones like for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But as like,
dang, you're already bowing out at a ripe age of
24.
Jesus.
Yep.
I guess that's sort of the age when I started to wane off a little bit.
But you're back on it. You're back on it.
I am. But not.
I'm more like, it was a little exaggeration, but like I see the dying whale. No, the sinking ship, and I'm like, peace, you know? I don't think it's sinking, but I just don't think it's at its prime, and it'll ever get back to some prime.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like, remember the thrift shop Macklemore?
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, on the Grammys, it was like him versus Kendrick versus Kanye versus Drake. and
Yeah.
they all had like their best albums ever in 1 year.
Yeah.
Like I just want that again, but I don't think we're ever gonna get that. Like even Kanye can't get back like that cohesive, boom, this is an album ever again.
Well, he doesn't want to.
Yeah, but like the only one left is like Drake. I mean,
There it is.
Kendrick.
That's a conscious
I heard
baby.
the DR from Kendrick and it spilled into Drake, but we have to see what his album's like, and it's not going to live up to whatever I'm thinking of. So, or maybe his album's like the nice little flag on the end of rap, like on the boat, the white flag.
I think Kendrick needs. I want Kendrick to make the best album. I want him to beat Drake because I want him to bring you back to hip hop. I want him to come out and just be like, "All right, I believe in hip hop again."
But Kendrick was never like that. He's like, he talks about how we're messed up, but he doesn't make the next thing.
He's a poet.
That's true.
I wouldn't say he's a trendsetter. He speaks of the times.
Yeah. He's like the wise old man.
He's like Master Splinter, who he referenced in Good Kid, Mad City. I think on the intro.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know my hip hop.
Little historian over here. Don't grimace.
I've been watching a lot of basketball.
That's dying too.
I want to live a life where it's like, oh, play basketball 30 minutes, sure, shoot the ball, play like one game, come home, next day, oh, do some jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Just like free, like a modular life.
Yeah. Because I think, like, I've been watching hip hop and like I forget how much style players have, like just coolness and like how they play and like their own like style when they play. And then when I watch jiu-jitsu, it's like very styleless as far as like people having like a personality and like like of course there's styles how you do things, but watching basketball, I'm like, oh man, I sort of missed that like that style.
Personality.
Yeah, personality. And I want to bring that to jiu-jitsu.
You're gonna be the first pop jiu-jitsu fighter. Yeah. I hate you.
Yeah.
The Drake of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Blue belt, baby.
Jesus.
Nah. That's it. We watched it last night.
What?
Soho. She was so mad at me because I've been putting it off because like I haven't had time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like 9:30. And she's like, ugh. We got home like at 12, and she's like, never again.
Did she like it?
She thought it was good. I think it was just too late for her to like really like it. She was like looking at it like that. But I think she liked it. She liked it better than Dune. But then I asked her, this or James Bond, like the last one? And she's like, James Bond. I'm like, really? And she's like,
smart gal you got.
she's like, right? And I'm like, well, it's up to you. And she didn't respond back. I think she said it though to like appease me, but she doesn't know that I like this one better.
Well, she said right. Like that's the right option. That's the right choice, right?
All right, everyone. This was another episode of Peliculas with the Bros. Please hit that subscribe button. Please like us. Please follow us on any podcast platform. We'll be back next week to talk about Eternals. Not really excited about that.
I'm a little bit.
I think it's gonna be great, but I'm not excited about it.
I've seen.
Don't say it.
No,
Reviews? Okay.
No. Well, the reviews are being bombed by racists.
Classic.
But it looks like a good amount of just pure superhero. Like,
I don't want that though.
I want that. And the director is like supposed to be good. And
That's why I don't think it's gonna be that. Because she's like empathetic director, feeling based.
I'm curious. Like I think it's the most like, how is this gonna be Marvel movie I've seen that I will see ever.
Well, I
Maybe
think
Black Panther was the last one.
There's a lot of hype around Eternals because it's supposed to be like the big thing, the big driving force into the next phase, right?
That's what they always say, isn't it?
That's how they get us, huh?
Don't.
God, all right, I'm done.
I'm excited.
I think it is supposed to be that, right? Like this sets up everything.
Well, I thought that's what Loki was. Well, I guess they need to put it in a movie, otherwise it's not like taken seriously.
I think Loki was like it started the fire. This is the gasoline.
I feel like that's been said for everything post Black Widow.
Oh, Black Widow. What's a Black Widow out of 5? That's like a 2, right?
Yeah, like 2.25.
Okay, good.
2.5 to be safe.
We'll be back next week, people. We love you. Peace out.
Bye.